everyone, and welcome to my channel, White Light Blessings, a place for survivors, spiritualists, whistleblowers, and seekers on the path. I am your host, Francesca, and I have my first very special guest, Billi. Welcome, Billi. Thank you so much for being here. It's an honor. I really appreciate it. Some of you may know Billi. She's pretty out there on the internet, and but for those that don't, Billi is a member and pretty much like one of the key players of Lay Love Down, which is a group that protects and discovers the ley lines. And Billi also has her own group, Heart of, now you're going to have to help me pronounce this, Heart of
Billi.
Billi.
Yep.
Billi. Okay,
Yep.
Heart of Billi. And this is where Billi helps people discover their true heart intent in life, and kind of like deprogram people to be, like, you know, since we're a child, we're programmed, and it helps people just open their hearts and souls and follow their true path in life. So I will put all those links below for anyone who's interested. But again, Billi, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. I'm excited. To finally like be on this side of it, like, because I've been doing with Lay Love Down, doing interviewing, and also on my podcast. I'm always interviewing people, so it's refreshing to be able to talk about myself. I'm getting used to that. So it takes a bit, like you're brought up like not talking about yourself or feeling funny about it. So yeah, it's good, and like you're a great person, and I'm so glad that we've connected.
I
And
know, me too.
yeah, it's so cool. So yeah, I'm looking forward to where the shake goes.
Yeah, exactly. And also I forgot to say, Dream Oracle for You. That's another well, it's Billi and Sarah's YouTube channel, because I know you love dreams and discovering that side of things. So, and I was on your show, which I was honored about. So yeah, you just do so much, and I know what you're saying, like being on the other side of it must just be a bit of like a shock, like, because from the shows I've watched with you, you know, you're always interviewing or listening. And going back to what you said about, you know, we're kind of raised not to talk about ourselves because it's deemed kind of, I suppose, like selfish or self-centered. I guess you got to find that balance. Like, you don't want to be yapping about yourself all the time, but I kind of think, not to digress too much, but like, kind of makes us a bit self-conscious in a way, not being able to talk about ourselves.
Yeah, but we should be. Well, first off, we should love ourselves like more than anything else in the world. So that's like first and foremost, and we're taught to love everything external. So, and then being proud of who we are in that moment, and being able to share what we love, you know, what we're doing at that time, and be able to share with other people, because that's how you connect with people and have conversations. But if it's the same kind of conversations all the time, like, yeah, I'm good, yeah, kid's good, work's good, you know, and it kind of limits our connection. Like, it cuts off like any sort of like real deep and meaningful conversations with people. So that's been my goal for, you know, quite some time, is to force myself into situations where I have to talk about myself. And because, you know, up until about 18, I was very quiet. Like, you wouldn't hear a peep out of me. And that was, I thought it was a good thing, you know. I was the perfect child, you know, never do anything wrong, never say anything wrong. And I found out that's quite damaging to like a young person that wants to express themselves. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm going at the moment, is working on myself, opening my heart up, and that comes with being confident and knowing who you are, and then everything falls into place. So yeah.
I could not agree more. Like, nothing bores me more. I mean, before we were recording, we were having a conversation about the weather, but we went deep and it was like, put the vinegar out and all of that, like, to the weather, but like help clear the earth, you know. But like, there's nothing that bores me more than a conversation about weather and work. And it is, it's part of our programming from a really, really young age because it's deemed polite and you're well behaved and you fit a mold. And I was always, you know, not to make this about me, but I was always one of those kids that would just not stop asking questions. I was so annoying. I remember like adults telling me all the time, like, can you just stop talking? Like, just stop asking questions. So yeah, I completely relate to that. And I think it's important to be able to like speak about ourselves. And you know what? I found as you go through life, the more you are yourself, the more you attract who you need to attract. And people do genuinely love you for who you are. I think when you kind of stifle that, people, your energy is off, and then people don't know how to be around you, or you might give off the wrong idea. So, yeah, I completely agree. But
Yes, yeah. I've been actually like, sorry to cut you off, but I've actually
no,
been like playing with that a little bit, like my using my own energy to not suppress it, but like hold back at certain times and then to open up when I need to. And it's been quite interesting, like the interactions I have are very different. Like if you're going down the street and you need to like be somewhere and do something like quick and move on. Like if you're in your own hometown, you're like bumping into people, hey, how you going? Whatever. Sometimes you have to like shut your energy down. So there's like restricting a conversation. So I've just been playing with that sort of thing, and it's quite interesting how our like the way we present ourselves in the world. You have control over it once you've become aware that we're all energy. And so sometimes it could be you're picking up on someone else's energy, or it could be your energy. So that's what I've been focusing on a lot lately, especially because I'm traveling. So I'll be interacting with different people
yeah.
all the time. So it's like, yeah, it's almost, people say it like it's protecting, but it's also like it's that awareness that you have control over your energy field, whatever word you want to call it. But yeah, so yeah, it's been quite interesting. So yeah,
I think that's such a good I suppose approach, because it's like the little things in life where you sort of practice internally. Like you said, you see people in the street, you shut off a little bit, and then for other people you open your energy field up and have a chat. And you know, going back to when you were younger, did you, Billy, always kind of I suppose feel energy more? So could you relate more to energy than you could, I suppose, people? um
yeah, I think so. Yeah, and especially animals, like relating to animals a lot more.
yes.
Um, I suppose now looking back, I can like pick up like what I experienced about the time when you're younger. You're not sure what's going on, especially if you haven't been taught what you're feeling, what you're seeing, what you're experiencing. So there's probably like a lot of memories I'm still collecting. I'm trying to remember when I was younger. So, but yes, I definitely would pick up on like if you walked into a room, you're like, oh shit, I don't want to be here. Like
Yeah.
this is like real dense energy in this room.
Mm,
So yeah, and I think a lot of us have that ability to be able to pick up and sense.
mm,
Everyone's different, like in different sensitivity, I guess. But if you can call yourself an empath or whatever another term for it, but you can pick up on other people, how they're feeling and everything, what they're going through. Um, it's quite hard if you can't put words to it, or you haven't been taught how to, I suppose, use that to your advantage. Like so, that's what I'm doing now. So yeah, it was very hard growing up, like trying to interact with people because I don't know for yourself, like I could just feel people's energy as soon as I come like within small
mm.
space. I could very very much feel people's energies, and probably more so now realizing like different energy, like beings and spirits and that sort of stuff that I couldn't see, but I could feel there's something there. So, and you got plenty of experience with that too.
Yeah. Yeah, I was always, it's interesting you say that because I was always, I picked up on people's sudden dips in energy or if they felt bad and I was constantly, and I even still do it to this day sometimes, depending on like the setting, I'll be like, are you okay? Are you all right? Like I can instantly pick up if someone's not okay or
Yeah.
like if they were good one minute and then they're not good the next. And it actually, if you don't have any control over it, it can actually really mess with your head. And like you can almost as well become a bit of a bother at an event because, someone might not want to talk about if they're not okay or, and I had to learn, I suppose, over the years to sort of like not shut it down, but I suppose filter it would be the term, time and place, and you can't help everyone. And like as well as that, like feeding off of, I also had to get control of like not allowing my energy to be dictated by another person's energy, which was very hard. And I found that the most difficult because like how do you do that without completely shutting off yourself as a person, but then how do you protect yourself? So that's another one. And as a child, going back to what you were saying, you didn't really understand what was going on. I was the same. Like I was like, am I just a really overly sensitive person, or like is there something wrong with me? Why is no one else asking these questions? Does no one else feel this? Like,
Yeah.
and I guess as well, like with mediumship and being a psychic, and as you were saying, you were seeing, you're starting to feed into beings and other sort of lines of energy. I picked up, I did my readings through feeling what a spirit was saying or what an entity was trying to tell me, more so than, you know, seeing it in my mind's eye. So, and Billy, with your family, were your parents like quite spiritual or energy, like were they, spiritualists or psychic mediums or anything like that? Or
No, no, not that I experienced. They're quite, I suppose, religious, both sides of my family.
mm,
So that's why I think a lot of what I experienced was like shut down and wasn't really talked about. So, for a long time, not talking about all my feelings. And a lot of times I was told that I was a bit too sensitive. And now I think it was just because I wasn't taught to manage and, yes, like protect, or just manage and become aware of like other people's energies as well as my own. So that's such a powerful thing. And then those are going to be listening to this, and if they come across anyone that's talked like kids are having trouble at school or in certain situations they can't cope, it's good to really have a think about what they're experiencing. Is it overwhelming? They're very sensitive to other people's energies and other beings or anything like that. So we really need to, it's a perfect time that we're becoming more aware of these things to focus on our own well-being. And it's not just the physical. It's not like eating good and drinking good water. It's everything, the holistic approach. So
mm,
yeah.
yeah. It's such a it's a fine line. It's a fine line and a fine balance. Like, and I feel like when you're quite a sensitive person, so to speak, and you have like you feed off of other people's energy. You kind of like your body's sensitive as well. Like any slight change in my body, and I'm like, okay, I know exactly. Like, how like some people they just all of a sudden will get real sick and they're like, oh, what? what, that just came out of nowhere. I don't think that's ever happened to me. Like, I've always known the slightest change in my body, like I know there's something not right. And I think as well that kind of feeds into being maybe perhaps like, I think the term empath is way overused. Personally, for me, it's way overused. I don't even really like that term, to be honest. But I just think like when you're a person who's, I suppose, tuned in a lot more or more so than others, and we're all capable of it. I just think that some of us are kind of born like more tuned in than others, and then you kind of go through life wondering what the heck is going on, why am I so sensitive, and then but everyone's capable of tuning in. But yeah, basically, yeah, I think overall you just become more sensitive to everything, and I think you are more prone to like even even for example, sometimes in my family, if someone's feeling sick, I'll just suddenly start feeling sick, and I'm like, why do I feel sick? And then I find out they're sick, they've got a sore stomach or whatever it might be, and I'm like, oh, okay. um but it would have been hard, I think, really, like for you in some ways, looking back, like with your parents being quite religious, because religion, and nothing against any religion. I think if you're not harming anyone, I have nothing against anyone's beliefs. But I feel like it can be quite stifling, and it's quite strict. That for certain religions, and was that difficult for you, sort of like in the sense of trying to relate in your house and with your parents and trying to get them to kind of understand?
Oh yeah, like a lot of people, you just want to be like when you're a young kid, you just want to explore and you're curious and
Mm,
you just want to do so many things and you don't understand like the limitations that are put on you, and you have to dress a certain way, you have to talk a certain way, you have to just be a good kid. And that was that saying about um be seen but not heard.
or be
That I
seen and
think
not
that's,
heard.
yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's, I feel like a lot of kids have gone through that. um but for me, like I always stayed true to who I was. It's almost like no one can break me. I'm gonna just hide myself away until the right time, that where
Yeah.
I can, open myself up. And that's what I felt for a long time. And that's when you get like a lot of frustration. You get your own sickness in your body because you've been holding on to all of this. And then
Mhm.
when the time is right, when you feel safe enough that you can express yourself. So for anyone that's in that situation, um, just know that like you will have you'll have your moment where you can be you
Yeah.
again and heal and do what you need to do in this world. So yeah.
Was there a defining moment, I suppose, in your life, Billy, where you knew this was what I wanted to do, like following your heart and being, in touch with your energy, and because it's hard. I mean, I understand it's probably a chain of events, but was there like one particular defining moment where you were like, wow, okay, like I know?
um I think for me, like I've always just led through my heart, and that's why I like was always felt like I was going against the grain with everything in my life, um, with school, with family, with the religious aspect of life, even sport. Um, so I don't know. Um, what was the question again? I just got like a mind blank. I was like, what was it talking about again?
It's okay. So it was just, if there was a defining moment in your life where you knew, okay, yeah, I'm not your substandard sort of like programmed person that is okay, I suppose, going through life just doing, I suppose, like society's expectations. Was there a moment where you were like, wow, okay, I feel like I can definitely tune into energy and I'm meant for something a little bit off the path or on the path, whatever way you want to put it?
I don't know. There wasn't any defining moment, but it was, um, like I said, I've always led with my heart. But I suppose when I decided that I was going to like leave my town, my hometown, that's where I felt like I, disconnected from that old life. I know,
Yeah.
like if I going back to my hometown, like it feels so different. Like I don't, I've got memories, but I'm not connected to those memories in the same way anymore. Um, so then that was about 2014. Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
And since then, I suppose just everything I've done and chosen to do has been slowly leading me to where I am today. Yeah, not having a career, but more of a life where I want to fulfill what I'm supposed to do here, and as well as helping other people find their passions, their desires, their niches, and whatever. So
Mm.
yeah,
No, I love that. It's kind of like wherever it's sort of, I suppose with your head, everything has to be structured, and then with your heart, it flows. And I
yeah,
find like the flow is just when you kind of give away that whole, "Oh, I want this and I want that," and you just kind of see where, like, even if it doesn't make sense, like, for example, like, some of the best things that's ever happened to me in life didn't, before it happened, the path that led me to get to that moment didn't make any sense. I was like, well, this seems really stupid. Like, why am I doing this? But it has always worked out the best. And I suppose, like, anything I overthink in my head or overly structure in my head, it never, there's always some like blockage, or there's always something that cuts me off. And so I totally get what you're saying in the fact, like going back to what you said about how you left your hometown, and um that was sort of like a defining moment, because I suppose you like severed the ties, to an old energy.
yeah,
And going back, you realize, wow, like I've really done what I need to, I'm on the right path, basically. And
yeah, yeah,
I love that, because so many people, and I don't blame anyone, because you're programmed from birth. And how are you supposed to know if you don't know? Like, you just live your life, and you know what? Some people are happy living their life just 9 to 5. You do your job. You get married. You have kids. Whatever it might be. You take a holiday twice a year, and people, it's great if you're happy, whatever floats your boat. But yeah, I'm the same as you. I couldn't, I knew there was always more, like there's got to be more than this like matrix that's happening. I didn't know what it was. I was like, I don't know what the heck what else is out there. And then yeah, I kind of discovered like, whoa, like this whoa moment. But no, and like, can I ask, because I wanted to talk about the ley lines today, because
yeah,
a lot of people don't know. I didn't know what ley lines were, right? Until I found you on TikTok, which is how we met. Good old TikTok. Um, and I was like, what is this lady doing? Like, what are you? Because you do the meditation, and just correct me if I'm wrong, that balances the ley lines. Is that correct?
yeah. So we got the like every Thursday we do like at 12, like 12 p.m. Anywhere you are in the world, that you can just take 5 minutes out of your day and do your own practice.
Mm-hmm.
And we have each week we have a different color ley line, and we can get into that, but people don't have to worry so much about the colors and that sort of stuff if you're only learning about what they are. But the point of it is the intention is to go somewhere that you feel comfortable, like it feels good. It can be in your own backyard, but like just being outside in nature on the ground, your feet on the ground. If you're happy to take your shoes off, I spend a lot of time with no shoes on, and because I just can't stand them. But just I can feel the disconnect, and
Mm.
when there's lots of concrete and everything. So just getting out in nature and just spend 5 minutes doing what you want to do. And we encourage people, if you want to sing, we've got a Time to Rise song. It's designed for what's been written for Lay Love Down. And then we do like fortnightly group meditations, and each meditation is focusing on ley lines, but also, different waters, like waters around the world, trees, might focus on birds, focus on the different chakras. It's different each time depending on what the facilitator feels at the moment, because that's what we are. We shouldn't be, very structured with these sorts of things. It should flow through us, what comes through from source, from your higher self, whatever you want to call it, just the energy that flowing through you. So yeah, that's what the meditations are about, is really helping clear the energies of Mother Earth. And if you want to, I can explain what ley lines are. So for those that have
Yes.
never heard them before, yeah. So probably about a year ago, yeah, it's probably about a year now, a little bit longer than that. I think I've been with Lay Love Down, and so I do like their social media, and then just basically the operating of the project. And what it is bringing balance and harmonizing ley lines. So ley lines are, you could call them like nodes, what do they call them, meridians in the body, but on Mother Earth. So they're just different energy signals basically on Mother Earth, and they've been used in a bad way to manipulate the energies of the earth. And so what we're doing as our aim is to rebalance and to harmonize Mother Earth so then she can heal, and then we heal as well because we're connected to Mother Earth. So yeah, that's basically what it is. Like, it's ley lines. It's not complicated. The Chinese, they call them dragon lines. In Australia, the indigenous culture, they call them like song lines or dreaming lines. So they would sing on these lines, and that's what we encourage people like to, get out and sing. You don't have to be a great singer, even though I believe anyone can sing. You just have your own niche, and
Mm.
yeah, so you just get out. I've got a little drum that I can use. I've got tuning forks. You can just hum whatever it is, and just to get out and to set an intention that that's what you want to do, that you want to harmonize and balance the energies of Mother Earth. That's pretty much it. Like, our intention is like the most powerful thing we've got.
Mm.
And when we don't set intention and we're giving away our attention to politics and religion and movies and all that sort of stuff. Not to say that you just cut it all off and you don't expose yourself to it. I still watch a movie and TV show here and there, just to. It's just another way of gaining information, really. So even like the news. So it's yeah, that's basically what Lay Love Down is, and yeah, kind of what I'm planning to do when I go on my trip around Australia is to meet people, talk about what I'm doing. It's not about like getting big groups of people together. It's just meeting people and just being me, basically, sharing what I enjoy doing, and hopefully that will, spark some interest in people. Then they can go on their journey and read up about ley lines and intention and all this sort of stuff. So yeah.
I love that. And, you told me about your trip around Australia, and I'm fascinated because, like, look, I'm not going to lie, I'm not a camper, okay? Like, I love nature, don't get me wrong, I love nature. I've always felt a connection, but I don't camp. Like, but so how are you, is you driving, Billy? You're driving around Australia? That's
Yes. Yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Me and my dog. Yeah. We're just gonna cruise around, and no real plans, no end destination, no duration or anything like that. And it's, for me, that's it feels freeing, because I
Mm.
I really struggle with time restraints, and and structure. I feel like my energy is very restricted in that way, and that's when I get a lot of anxiety. So I'm like, you know what? I can't handle that anymore. I need to flip my life and do what's good for me, because it's not for everyone. Like, I don't have a partner, I don't have kids, but I don't have a mortgage and I don't have that stress over me. So it's just me, doing what I love. And so, not saying that those things are not good, but yeah, everyone functions differently. And so I'm really excited to be just traveling around and yeah, no real plans. Just going to all these different places around Australia, and I'm gonna just just listen to my heart and all the things that come in. Like if I connect with people and they suggest to go to a certain place and it really connects with me, that's where I'll go. So that's
Mm.
how I'm going to travel. No GPS, just got my old fashioned book with all the streets and everything. Yep, that's how I'm going to do
Love that. Yeah, I remember being a kid and like mum and dad would shout in the back seat, all right, like you've got to do D12, like the grid, and then you'd find the street and flip 10 pages and you'd be like, all right, left, like, so I love that. And are you going like, I know you say you're heading south first, South Australia first.
Yeah.
And then obviously I'm assuming you're coming through WA. And then are you like, are you going to take a year, 6 months, or just whatever happens?
That's where I think just leaving it open
Yeah,
is going to be better, because then, like, if I really find a place that I want to stay longer, I'm not restricted with moving on or anything like
yeah,
that. So it's just stay in a place for a month, see how it is, and then move on. Um, I think for me, that's like a better way than to have it like structured.
mm,
And yeah, but who knows where I'll lead? I'll do. I love making soap, and I've been doing soap workshops, in my hometown. So I want to take that on the road, and it's just giving people a skill that they can do for themselves, make their own soap. It's not hard.
yeah,
And that came from not wanting to put more chemicals into my body than I already do. So
yeah.
started there, and then it's obviously I've evolved and done other things. But yeah, so things like that, just real basic, bring it back to basics. That life doesn't have to be so complicated. Life is quite simple.
Mm,
We've just had all these layers put on top, and it's taken all those layers off one at a time, slowly but surely, and
mm.
coming back to ourselves, and so you can enjoy like the simple things. So yeah.
I agree, and I just had a download just then, I feel like I need to share it. So when you're a kid, like you're a toddler, and like when my kids were all little, I could never. You can never get them to wear shoes or clothes even sometimes, and like they live off a piece of bread. You're trying to constantly get them to eat and they never want to eat, and it's sort of, it's as I've gotten older I've realized, you know fasting. You don't wear shoes to ground yourself, like, okay, maybe not the wearing no clothes, but clothes restrict us. And, kids, when we're born, and it's not until we're told what to do to fit the society's mold that, because I remember being little and I would never eat. And I just remember thinking, well, I'm not hungry. I don't want to eat. I'm not interested. My mum and dad would sit there for bloody hours trying to get me to eat a meal. And I was just like, I don't want it. I'm fine. Obviously, I couldn't communicate that, but, I have memories of it. And I feel like, yeah, we definitely, as you were saying, going back to, you wear no shoes and you ground yourself on the earth. And one of my kids, when they were little, they never wore shoes. She just refused to wear shoes. She never had clothes. She lived off like a cucumber. And she called it a day. And I was, you know what? I was okay with it. Like, I was like, you do you. So I think it really reinstates the fact that we get all these things told to us, from so young, you're going back to 18 months, 2 years old, and then it just becomes this norm. And no wonder we have like this thing of depression and anxiety, and no one really knows. I mean, not to go off track too much, but obviously all the crap they put in our foods and products, and I'm guilty of it. My hair's bleached and I wear makeup, and like I'm probably full of chemicals in my body. I don't even want to think, but like, no wonder we have all these things that we get mentally, and we feel frustrated and depressed, and we've kind of got like, I suppose, nothing to be, if you've got nothing to be really depressed about, like, why are you depressed? Why are you getting anxiety? Obviously there's things along life's journey that are traumatizing, and everyone has losses and burdens and things like that, but when life's going good, you think to yourself, well, why am I depressed? And I do really believe it's this constriction and the chemicals and all the stuff we put in ourselves and the pressure we put on ourselves, being at work by 8 or being at work by 9, getting stuck in traffic, fitting your KPIs at work or whatever it is. And it's all filtered through to you subconsciously, like you doing it, but it's like programmed into the back of your brain, and then you wonder why you're getting really stressed out, and it's just all not working. So I love that you've taken a step back and gone, no, I'm just going to go now. I'm going to go on a journey.
Yeah. Well, you get to a point in your life, I guess, when you've tried so many things to be happy and stay healthy and connect with people, and just what you're doing, it's just not enough. Like you really need something, um something that's going to kickstart you in what you need to do, like into your next phase of your life. So for me, like for a long time, since I was about 14, I've had like severe back pain, and then it just become like chronic fatigue, and then only recently I'm like realizing that it's all been this inflammation of my body. That's probably underlying other things, but all this time, I could have spent like um, enjoying my life and playing sport and all these sorts of things, and all you could think about is the pain in your body. It's so consuming, and so that's what has kind of sparked me to go on this trip. Is like I'm on my own, is being able to do it without anyone around me influencing me, um, downgrading or um, restricting what I'm trying to do, because of they're on a different path, and they're not in the same, um, they're not doing the same thing as you. But for me, yeah, I really needed to change it up. So that this trip is for that. It's for me. And so yeah, anyone that's, I suppose, that is going through a similar thing, that they really, is whether it's health or like you're in a job that you just really don't enjoy anymore, like take notice of that, because that's your energy, like that's your higher self, the universe, whatever you call it. It's trying to tell you something, and it's generally what you said before. It's like the disconnect from your heart, basically, is your heart's yearning for that reconnection and trying to remind you who you are. So yeah, that's what I say to people, is like, just ask yourself in the moment, like, what it is I need to know in this moment. And generally you'll get the answer that you probably don't want to hear.
Yeah.
Like quit your job, or like stop
Yeah.
hanging out with that one particular person that's just bringing you down all the time, or is limiting you from moving forward into your life to become who you're supposed to be, into your full potential. So yeah, I
Mm.
just encourage people to have a think about those things, and don't, if something uncomfortable comes along, sit with it. Don't try and brush it away and avoid it with alcohol, with just more TV, more movies, because I'm guilty of that, 100%.
Mm.
But I think that's where
We
you,
all
if you,
are.
yeah, if you can talk from experience, and it becomes easier to explain to other people. So
Mm.
yeah.
And you mentioned earlier, just going back to the ley line, because it's conversations made me think on to how, like, you know, I suppose us, the system kind of corrupts us and is there to basically dim our energy and make us a lower vibration, whatever you want to call it. Um, with the ley lines, you were saying that they've been used for the wrong purposes and they've been kind of corrupted. If you don't mind, can you go a bit deeper into that and how that kind of affects us as a human race and the earth?
Yep. Yeah, for sure. I'm still learning like all this sort of stuff. Like there's so much stuff that's been uncovered and all that sort of thing. So I'm no expert, but it's just the things I've been has come into my awareness. And I suppose when you start looking into this, like a particular topic, you learn about it, but then you go and research it and you experience it yourself, then it
Mhm.
becomes a knowing. So I'm still like all that's still becoming a knowing. So if someone is listening and they think I'm wrong, cool, that's fine. This is just where I'm at the moment. But yeah, so what I've learned is like different structures, buildings, forts, that sort of thing have been used to harness the energy of the ley lines. And when they were originally built, they could have been used in a good way, but like as history is, you know, or time has gone on, it's been repurposed and used in a negative way. So there's like, I don't know if you've heard of star forts. They're like designed into like a star.
Mhm.
Um, you know, they were used, and that's geometry. You know, sacred geometry, and that's basically it's harnessing energy. But there's a lot of like military bases are based in those places. There, I think prisons as well have been using. So the energy is
Mm.
being changed into a. I don't like to say negative and positive because it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Um, into like into a bad way. I'll just use the bad for now.
Yeah.
And same with like churches, cathedrals, um, yeah, just different building structures, like ones that are like very old, and then even new ones like stadiums, sports stadiums, and concert halls, all those sorts of things have been used to harness our energy and then to use it for whatever purpose. So who knows what they use it for because we're still learning all that stuff.
I know, and I think it's sort of a never ending tunnel, isn't it? Like for learning, I think we never stop learning. But I guess in a way, the way I would interpret it, and I could be wrong, is that ley lines are almost like a freeway for energy. And
Yeah,
if the wrong energetic traffic gets on that freeway, it kind of corrupts that whole line of flow. And I think that, you know, buildings such as the forts and stadiums, where I suppose nefarious things go on, prisons, it all feeds into this, I suppose, like almost like a blood vessel for energy, and it kind of corrupts it. That's how I kind of sort of
yeah,
interpreted what you said.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, because when you think about it in a big stadium, like what are the people that, you know, so if they're going to see a big, you know, music artist, is they're worshiping that person and then all that energy and their intention going to that person and also the ley line probably running through that stadium has
mm,
been they're gonna use that energy for whatever purpose they want. So I'm not saying don't go to these things, but it's just bringing awareness,
yeah.
really. When you're becoming aware of all these things, you start to think and then just live with purpose and intention. That's really all it is. It's not like, oh, don't listen to music and shut yourself off and like go live in the bush and don't connect with anyone or anything like that. That's a bit silly and that's a bit childish, I think, in that having that attitude. But it's just being aware of what's happening around you, your environment, because a lot of things have been hidden from us. And so,
And
yeah,
think. and I think fear feeds fear. I think it's important not to fear, but to be aware. And you know, you cannot. I've always been a big believer in you can't control other people's beliefs, no matter what. And that's okay. I'm not here to do that. Whoever is meant to be aware or and I don't like the term wake up either. There's a few terms I don't like, but like whoever wants to, I suppose, learn more and evolve in whatever way they want will choose information and go with it. But I think forcing people, or as you were saying, like don't go to concerts, live in the bush in a hut. Like if you want to do that, that's fine. If that, but it is extreme, and I think it's unrealistic because you're going to come across things you have to do in life that aren't always fitted to what your sole purpose is or what your heart intent is. And, I'll give it an example. My daughter and I, we went to the Drake concert, and we went, but we were aware that possibly, there was like nefarious energy there, and we kind of like talked about it in the car before, and I'm like, look, like we enjoy his music, but I think it kind of protects you in a way, being aware of what's going on rather than being completely like shut off and not realizing. And we went, we had a good time, and I suppose not to sound cringe, but we kind of protected our energy field before we went in there. And yeah, we had a good time, but I think it's about finding balance. Although like a hut in the bush does sound great, it sounds peaceful.
Yeah, well, there's nothing wrong with that, I think. But if you're doing it too because you're scared or you're just avoiding everything in your life, then it's not
Mm,
exactly healthy. But if
yeah.
I would love to go live in nature, but not disconnect myself from the world.
Mm,
It's
yeah.
more so like because I really love being around nature and animals and that sort of thing. Having like a dog sanctuary where there's lots of dogs that around
Oh,
me and just any animal really.
yeah.
So like I think that's important. But so when you went to this concert, how did you protect yourself?
Well, firstly, being aware, and secondly, I believe I don't have a religion because for me personally, I don't believe in religion. I'm an independent believer in Christ. And Jesus. So, and my daughter, she's a born again Christian. So it's all this stuff. Like we've got all these different beliefs in the house, but we're all respectful of everyone's beliefs. And we just did a prayer. Like we just prayed in the car. We were like, protect us, we were aware of what goes on. Some people would be listening to this and think, well, you shouldn't have gone, and that's okay. And we just did a prayer of protection, and that was it. Like I don't feel like there needs to always be a ritual or like summoning energy with Jesus. It's really and God, for me it's really simple. You just say a prayer and you'll be protected, and there's I've got many examples of that are much more in depth than a concert. But yeah, that's how we did it, and we were fine. There was no issues, and I didn't feel like I was having any problems because I have been to events before that basically I didn't come away from feeling very good. And this was before I knew, I suppose, about like ley lines and like energy and stuff like that. And I would just always feel off for like a week, have funny dreams. And I do feel like, yeah, it's feeding into, I don't know, they kind of like hypnotize the crowd with whatever they're sending out. So, mm,
Yeah, no, so true. And I love that like you just saying a simple prayer and it's so true. Going back to life is simple. If you're aware and then your intention together is going to be all you need to do what you need to do, like protect yourself, but also like bring your energy back to you and not allow your energy to seep onto someone else and vice versa. So
mm,
because in a concert like there's lots of people.
a lot. It's crazy. It's madness. I'm like, oh. But yeah, no, I agree. And I think that like um it's again, if you can just protect your own energy, then that's okay. You can't always like, so I used to get this thing where I would always feel like, oh my God, I've got to protect everyone here. Like it's not just about me. But there's just some things you can't do that for, especially in a huge crowd like that. It's just not possible. And I used to very much like before I sort of had faith in Christ. I used to do a lot of rituals. I used to do these like big, long-winded, like protection spells and this and that. And I was like, man, this was draining. It was very draining for me. If for me personally, some people are ace at them and they get them right, and it's not a big deal, and they've learned. And I was like, there's just got to be an easier way. And then all this stuff happened, and I was kind of led down the path of like getting back on track with God and Jesus. And you know, one day he just spoke to me and he was like, you know, it's just a simple prayer. You just got to ask, and I shall deliver. And I'm like, okay, no worries. So yeah, in that sense, for me, I don't want anything overcomplicated. I'm not an overly like, if anything becomes too complicated, I'm like, just I'm not analytical like that, and I kind of tend to get real stressed out and like I start freaking out, and it's just not good for me.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get that. Like you gotta keep it simple. For me, and if like I'm going out into places, I'll just say, or I start to feel like there's energy maybe I've picked up when I've gone somewhere, is I just like I don't give permission for any unwanted energies or entities to be in my energy field. And that's pretty much all it is. Like you just all you're saying, it doesn't matter how you say it, like, but it's just your intention when you say it.
Mm.
A lot of people get stuck on specific words, but we can't really know the true meaning of every word because we've learned the original, like the words now. So yeah, like what it's your intention basically. And before it, like if there's anything I need to know before I go to sleep, I just say to myself, what is it that I need to know in this moment?
Mm.
And I just leave it at that, fall asleep pretty quick after that. If I remember, cool. But then, like, it's processing while I'm sleeping, and I wake up and I've healed myself, or like something shifted. So I think, like, yeah, just intention, like in your what
I
you're
love that.
saying, like, yeah, just being intentful for like what you want to say. Like, you don't
Mm.
have to copy someone else's mantra or prayer, or whatever. Like, just make it
Yeah,
your own because
yeah.
it's coming from your heart. Yeah,
I definitely agree with that. Like there's like a religion, any religion. It's not just Catholicism or born again or Anglican. It's even like, you know, some of the I suppose like what's the word I'm looking for? Um like the religions like Wiccan or whatever it might be. There's a lot of rituals. And it's brilliant if you've learned them and they work for you. But yeah, I think it's just like it's for me it was too long-winded. And you know, I did practice a bit of Wiccan stuff, and I kind of went down that path. And then God brought me back, and it was another reason why I didn't continue with my psychic medium readings. Look, I've always identified, I always say that I have psychic medium gifts, but I believe they're God sent. It's not something like separate, it's something that God gave me. But it's to have discernment now rather than to look into spirits and help and channel spirit. It's kind of changed. Um, so yeah, I sort of, because sometimes, you know, people get confused. They're like, what do you mean? You're like, you believe in God, but you're a psychic medium. I'm like, well, I'm not practicing anymore. So yeah, but I think any religion, it's just they're so long-winded and they can make you conform. And yeah, I remain independent. And there's a lot of like there's just a lot of dramas that come with being in churches, and there's a lot of stuff that goes on that yeah, isn't it's nefarious.
yeah. No, I get that. Yeah, I definitely. I agree with you. So yeah.
Yeah. And look, before we wrap up, Billy, is there, anything you sort of want to say, or you want to give out to people advice, anything that comes to mind? Because I just think you're like a wealth of knowledge, and you really truly live into what your heart is telling you, which is brilliant, because that's what you're out there preaching.
Yeah, thank you. For anyone that would like to learn more, they can come to my website. I'm also doing a course that's starting on the 3rd of October, and it's a 6-week course, and it's a group setting. So it's an hour and a half each week, and we just go through each topic, a different topic each week, and presents the information, and then we have question and answer at the end. So it's really interactive. We're kind of trying to get to know each other as well and help each other on the path. So that's 6 weeks, and it's on Fridays, Melbourne times 6:30. It's called the Heart Space. So it's basically focusing on your heart and bringing your skills, your abilities, whatever you have into the space, because it's not about me teaching and presenting just the topics. It's about us interacting and sharing as well, because that, I think that's the best way to learn and remember more about yourself. So I'm really excited about that coming up. Also, with a Dream Oracle for You, the dream podcast I do with Sarah, we have a dream interpretation course coming up, and that is on the 4th of October. So that's a 5-week thing, and it's just really going through in learning how to recognize your dreams, like different practices like dream journaling, learn how to like lucid dream, and just these different practices and tools that you can use to really become more aware of your dreams. But it's also like unlocking yourself, because there's no separation between when you're awake and when you're asleep. That is you all the time. um so really your subconscious is when you're asleep is doing all the work and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, we're really excited about that, and that goes for 5 weeks. And yeah, if anyone wants to just get in contact to have a chat, whatever, I'm happy. I'll be putting on my website a travel blog. So while I'm traveling, I'll put things I'm learning along the way. Like I just want to really take really cool photos to share with people, and to probably with ley lines in them. But yeah, just to share what you can do when you go into new places, how to connect with the land, with the environment around you. Yeah, no plans for it yet, but just whatever comes through. And yeah, so if anyone wants to keep track of what I'm doing and where I'm going, then you can go to my website, and yeah, I'll send you the link for that. And
Yes,
yeah.
please.
Yeah,
Send me
and,
the
and
link.
yeah, anyone that's wanting to just have a chat and learn more about what I'm about, just get in touch.
Yep. No, that sounds like you've got so much happening that's all positive. I love that. And yeah, I just wanted to again, Billy, to say thank you so much for giving me your time, because time is precious. It's the most important thing. And I really appreciate it. And I would love, love, love to have you back on, just because there's so much to talk about. Like, I'd love to talk about ley lines more, and your trip and dreams even. Like, the dream oracle for you is, yeah, dreams are just crazy. And you oh, we could just delve into so many episodes about that. But yeah, I'd love to have you back on, and thank you so much, and thank you to all of our guests. I really appreciate it. I would love to hear what you think below, and any ideas anyone has for me. I tend to just go with the flow. Whoever wants to approach me can. I'll put a link below for ways to contact me. But yeah, everyone stay safe, stay peaceful. Thank you, and bye.